special welcome to Mr. Everett Landon, one of Mason High School's past Honor Society presidents, and Mr. David Lewis, the superintendent of Mason Schools. At this time, I would like to introduce our principal, Mr. Kenneth Jordan.
It is with great pride and pleasure that I welcome the National Honor Society, inductees, parents, students, and staff to this special day to honor this very group of special students. We honor these students today that have chosen to devote time and sacrifice time and other pursuits to excel in their high school academics. These students have chosen to enrich their lives and to chart a course that will lead them to honors and other accomplishments as they work their way along through life's limitless opportunities. I would like to congratulate each and every one of you for your accomplishments and to wish you much success in future endeavors. Thank you.
The concert chorale, accompanied by Valerie Sanders and directed by Mrs. Nancy Love Owens, will now sing Follow Your Dream.
Everybody needs a star to wish on.
this time, I would like to introduce Mr. Everett Landon. Mr. Landon was elected Treasurer of the Honor Society when the charter was issued in 1961. Then, his senior year, he was elected President, so he has the distinction of being the only student to hold an office for both his junior and senior years. While at Mason High School, Mr. Landon participated in many extracurricular activities, drama club and debating, to name a few. We are honored that he took time out of his busy schedule as an attorney to talk to us today. We hope that more of Mason's outstanding alumni will have the opportunity to share with us their thoughts of the past and ideals of the future. And now, Mr. Everett Landon, second president of the Carpe Diem chapter of NHS.
Good morning, Karen. Parents, friends, faculty, administration, and board members. It's indeed a great pleasure to be here some 28 years, 364 days after the charter for Carpe Diem chapter was issued to the National Honor Society of William Mason High School. I can remember the heady days when we plotted and planned this new undertaking in what was then a new school. I can remember the discussions around the selection of the name Carpe Diem, which I suspect many of you only know as a foreign word, a foreign phrase. It literally translates as seize the day. However, a better and more meaningful translation is seize the opportunity. So today, I must seize the opportunity to be with you to discuss what Mrs. Ross asked me to discuss, educational leadership. Unfortunately, in the several minutes that I've been given, it is hard enough to distill 19 years of academic experience from first grade through law school, but I would be remiss if I didn't try to give you some other experiences from my non-academic world, the school of life. Because for more of my life, I've been out of school than I have been in school. My own life has been blessed with experiences gained from being a grocery stock boy, a farm worker, a construction laborer, a factory worker, a Peace Corps volunteer in Korea, as a government employee, a public defender, and now as a lawyer in private practice. I've also learned much from my fellow volunteers in community work and church work. And in a run for political office, I've been privileged to know those who tried and those who won, those who were starting and those who were finishing. As a husband to my wife, as a parent to my children, and as a child to my parents, I've experienced most of the joys and many of the sorrows that life will bring my way. When I was asked to return, I'm not sure that Mrs. Ross knew that in college I majored in history, and thus I would have to bring a historical perspective to what I say today. Much has changed since I grew up in this community. Some things caused me to be proud to have been born and raised here, and some things disturbed me. In 1961, when this chapter was founded, there had been no recent assassination of a president of the United States or civil rights leaders. The Berlin Wall had just gone up and now it's come down. Nearly all our TVs were, on a more mundane matter, were black and white, and a child was lucky to have a radio without regard to having a cassette deck or a CD player. The school had not a single computer. To imagine a computer in our home as I composed the speech on would have been unthinkable at that time. There was no Civil Rights Act. We lived in a segregated society where blacks had only recently been admitted to Coney Island and the movies. In the South, they were still in the back of the bus and not yet in colleges or on college athletic teams in any great numbers. Abortion was illegal and unknown to us, let alone ever discussed in the form of a political campaign. It was certainly our classmates who became pregnant had no choice to continue their education with or without their child. The Vietnam War had not yet happened. The confidence of our people in the United States in doing all things right and everything righteously was unbounded. There were about 70 members of my class. No one knew that some of our classmates could not keep up with the rest of us because of learning disabilities or dyslexia. The handicapped were kept separate and apart and were generally not educated and certainly not mainstreamed. We knew nothing of cocaine, heroin, or crack, or even marijuana. That's probably hard to believe. There was no cable television, and hardly any educational television, and even television stations had just begun to get videotape technology. We were proud of WLW, which was broadcasting right next door to us with Everybody's Farm. Mason was the center of the universe for those with farm and agricultural interests in those days. At 12 o'clock, all of them turned on the radio to hear broadcasts from Everybody's Farm. There was no high school football team in 1961. It started in '62. The bands and choruses were, frankly, not nearly as accomplished. Certainly, there were no girls' athletic opportunities at that time. Sadly, many of my female classmates were denied the opportunities to really test themselves academically as they headed for traditional women's careers. More of us got through high school without experiencing sex, alcohol, drugs, or broken families than you will have the opportunity to do. But there was a lot of trouble in our midst that was hidden and denied. We thought that alcoholics were people in the gutters of New York and Cincinnati, and not our parents or our friends or our friends' parents. Environmentalism had not yet been conceived, and probably more than anything else, we were smug in our egocentric and ethnocentric provincialism. Some of our parents would not have permitted us to invite Oscar Robertson into our homes, even if he were our college roommate. In our church youth groups, we debated whether or not our churches should admit blacks to worship with us. We looked forward to new and better cars that would be bigger, faster, and using more gas. There was no Medicare for the elderly and no Medicaid for the poor. There was no court in Mason. There was only one attorney, and I believe only one policeman, who was the same person that directed us as we crossed the street to go home for lunch from elementary school every day. We were much more religiously divided then. Protestants and Catholics met a big, deeper and divider chasm than they do today. We knew no one who was Jewish, and the concept of atheism or non-religious spirituality was not even a remote possibility. Our first induction had both an invocation and a benediction, without anyone in our midst thinking that not everyone shared our true religious beliefs. This has been a long litany of what was, to get to my main and hopefully understandable message to both you who are honored today and those of you who are doing the honoring. What is educational leadership? In my mind, educational leadership is the combination of utilizing the talents that we have been given by the accidents of birth and place to advance ourselves and our communities for the benefit of both ourselves and others. It may be hard to be humble on a day when you are honored for your accomplishments. I know that many of you have worked very hard to achieve this honor today. I suspect that some of you up here are envied by those of you sitting out there for your academic talents and skills. Sometimes envy takes the form of congratulations, and sometimes it takes the form of put down. I suspect that some of you up here are envious of other talents that are possessed by other people in this room, whether it's music, athletics, or social skills. I would ask you today to put aside the concept of envy and to accept the concept of acceptance. That is, that we need to accept one another for what we are and realize that there is another time and another place for everyone to be honored. With respect for everyone, there is no limit to what our society and culture, our communities can accomplish. Learn acceptance. In college, we were taught a little saying that has stuck with me for a long time, and that was, a society that does not honor both its plumbing and its philosophy will have neither good plumbing nor good philosophy. My 27 years of non-academic experience with people ranging from Korean peasant farmers to congressmen, would-be congressmen, governors, would-be governors, athletes, musicians, teachers, doctors, mechanics, cleaning persons, bus drivers, tells me that we all must come to acknowledge, respect, work with, live with, and yes, love each other. Just as we live in and are a part of a diverse society, so we must come to understand that acceptance of our diversity means that we honor all those whose different talents serve us. So, members who are to be inducted today and those who are members of the Honor Society, be proud of what you have accomplished by your selection to the National Honor Society. But do not forget that for each of you chosen today, there's someone that you need to honor in the future. A part of the honor is going to be given to what we call your God-given talents. And other people have God-given talents too that are not honored today, but will be in the future. As we acknowledge and accept our talents, our skills, our special worth, so too we can honor, acknowledge, and accept the talents and skills and the special worth of our fellow classmates. As you go forward, those of you honored today, who are up here, and those of you out there who are honoring them and watching this honor, remember that the times that the divisions were crossed and the talents shared and the honor given and the respect given, you up here accept the honor given to you by those out there, and you up here honor those who honor you. Thank you very much.
I will now present the history of National Honor Society and give a few details on our own local chapter. The main objective of the high school is to make the greatest possible contribution to society through its students. Around the turn of the century, educators saw the need to honor academic achievers, and thus the initial idea of the National Honor Society got its start. Between 1903 and 1919, many schools began organizing honor societies as a way to give special recognition to outstanding students. Since general admission into these honor societies was usually determined by the organizer of the group, entrance requirements varied from school to school. While some schools merely recognized scholarship, others made the qualities of leadership, character, and morality standards for acceptance into their societies. At the meeting of the National Association of Secondary School Principals in 1919, consideration was given to creating a nationwide honor society. A committee was appointed to report on this new organization's possibilities the following year. Shortly after, another committee headed by Edward Reinerson was set up to draw a constitution and organize the new organization. At the 1921 meeting of the National Association of Secondary School Principals, Reinerson outlined his new program. The main objective of the National Honor Society would be to improve scholarship in the student body. Admission to this society would be based on character, scholarship, leadership, and service. The Carp-Diem chapter of NHS was chartered in November 1961 and officially began on January 21st, 1962, with its first induction of 29 juniors and senior members. Today, at the 29th induction ceremony, we are welcoming 23 new members. These members were selected on the basis of their character, scholarship, leadership, and service, and will be expected to maintain a 3.25 grade point average while completing 12 hours of NHS tutoring for their junior year and 18 hours for their senior year. Krista Kruder will now explain about the emblem that represents NHS.
The emblem for National Honor Society was first adopted by the National Council in 1921 when the National Honor Society was first founded. This emblem is only worn by those who have worked hard to earn this privilege. It is something that symbolizes the pride all those that wear it feel for this great accomplishment. The emblem is made up of a keystone with a flaming torch on it, and underneath this torch are the letters C, S, L, and S. These letters stand for character, scholarship, leadership, and service, the four qualities you will find in each person inducted here today. The keystone is a symbol of strength. Just as a builder uses a keystone to make a firm foundation, we use the strength of our education to make a firm foundation of our education and our beliefs to make a firm foundation for the achievement of our goals throughout our lifetimes. The flaming torch is a symbol for the light of truth. It gives us the ambition to better ourselves, and it is the light to help lead others in the same direction. The first letter, C, which stands for character, is a symbol for the combination of virtues that lead us in our every endeavor. The second letter, S, which stands for scholarship, is a symbol of the intelligence and the knowledge we have and will acquire in our search for truth. The third letter, L, which stands for leadership, is a symbol of a personality that has the power to guide themselves and others in the right direction, even when it is not the easiest way to go. The last letter, S, which stands for service, is a symbol of an unselfish nature that leads us to help and do the best for others, rather than in the search for our own material rewards. This emblem is a symbol for our society, and the people inducted here today will be the leaders of tomorrow. We hope that this precious emblem will continue to be looked upon with pride and respect. I now light the candle for emblem.
By the C on the emblem.
Personal qualities that distinguish one person from another determine one's character. As F.E. Holmes stated, character is the diamond that scratches every other stone. A person's character influences others. Honesty, reliability, participation in school events, and courtesy are all included in a person's character. A person's morals and attitudes are an important part of their success. Believing in oneself and having faith in others are important character traits that distinguish a successful person from his or her peers. The willpower to get ahead and overcome many obstacles in life and be able to think freely yet unselfishly are qualities that help determine the success or failure of an individual. A person with a good character isn't afraid of taking a chance in life or helping another in need. He or she is ready to share new ideas about expanding the future. A special type of person ready to meet the challenge of tomorrow is the National Honor Society member that has the many individualistic qualities of character. Now I light the candle for character.
Tim Holt, the Mason High School Symphonic Band will play Die Meistersinger.
Scholarship is the quality of knowledge and learning shown by a student. A scholar is someone who participates in classroom activities and discussions and who asks questions when necessary. A scholar's interest in learning is not only for their own gain, but also for the enjoyment of seeking the knowledge of what is going on around them. Scholars consistently perform to the best of their ability and strive to do better. They will undertake extra studies, such as research for group or personal improvement. They will seek help when needed and not let the problem go until it is impossible to clear out. They will also work hard on homework and other assignments so they are able to ask questions that are necessary for a better understanding of the topic at hand. They will not take the easy way out. Instead, they work hard to find and understand information. A scholar knows that the information gained today will help them to have a successful future. We are here today to recognize the outstanding Mason students who demonstrate these qualities. Now I will light the candle of scholarship.
Julie DeRosa will now give her speech on leadership.
The captains of the sports teams, the drum major of the band, and the presidents of the clubs and classes all have something in common. They are all leaders. These individuals have all been put in a position where their actions affect many lives around them. Their followers are constantly watching how they walk, how they talk, whom they associate with, and what their personalities are like around others. These leaders stand out from the crowd and are distinctly different from the rest. They must dare to strive for what no one else will try. They must never lose hope in a failing situation. Much like the above noted leaders, these people that stand before you today are also leaders. They have gone beyond the average expectations of a student and have dared to be different. These individuals have excelled both academically and extracurricularly in and out of school. They too stand out from the crowd and strive for the impossible. They are different from the rest. Henry David Thoreau once said, "If a man does not keep pace with his companions, perhaps it is because he hears a different drummer. Let him step to the music which he hears, however measured or far away." I believe this states the true difference in our school between a leader and a student. These leaders may approach a task with only a slight alteration from the normal procedure or may make a total change. In either case, their unique methods give them the characteristics and abilities to be true leaders. Mason High School and its surrounding community should be proud of the leadership represented here today. I now light the candle of leadership.
The final characteristic of NHS is service. This will be presented by Kelly Fruiter.
We are here today to honor these students for their qualities of leadership, scholarship, and character. But what would any of these qualities be worth if they weren't put to good use? Service is using the good qualities that you possess to help others. Each of you have been blessed with many God-given talents. But with these talents comes the responsibility to use them to serve others. Each of us, those of us in NHS, and those of us who are not in NHS, will soon choose our different path of service. Some of you will choose to serve others through medicine, like Jonas Salk. Others will help by becoming great leaders, like Lincoln or Washington. And still others will serve fellow man by becoming teachers, like the teachers here at Mason. A few of you will help by becoming great literary figures, like Shakespeare. All of these are wonderful ways to serve others. But service can come in many different shapes and forms. It
It can range from something as complex as being president to something as simple as donating food or time to the needy, encouraging others to say no to drugs, or helping people to learn to read. There is no specific way to serve others. It's time for us to decide what path of service we will choose. Through our service, we have the ability to make a difference, not only in our community, but in our nation and the world. I now light the candle for service.
We will now proceed with the tapping. Jennifer Adams. Christopher Barr. Michael Beck. Aaron Burgess. Rebecca Chipman. Julie Cook. Beth Corrigan. Brian Crowley. Cynthia Draper. Jamie Fussner. Faith Garvinas. Patricia Garvinas. Joshua McCullough. Mark Mivers. Laura Morvita. Vernon Plotner. Sarah Colley. Kevin Popwell. Julie Salmon. Christy Smith. Scott Sorrell. Aaron Staputis. Allison Vance. Now please join me in reciting the National Honor Society Pledge. I pledge myself to uphold the high principles of this society, to which I have been elected, striving in every way, by thought and deed, to make its ideas, the ideals of my school and my life. Our society would now like to recognize a teacher who has taught in Mason 28 years. During this time, she has been the advisor to the yearbook, the newspaper, and has always been willing to provide leadership and service to the school. She's a teacher in both the business department and the language arts department. The NHS members would like to honor her by inducting her as an honorary member to the Carpe Diem chapter. Mrs. Hester Smith, please come forward. recognition to Mrs. Catherine Ross. Several years ago, Mrs. Ross was made an honorary member of the Carp Dam chapter. Today, we would like to honor Mrs. Ross for over 20 years of dedication and service. Mrs. Ross, would you please come forward? At this time, we will pass out the cards and the scrolls to the Honor Society members. Mr. Jordan, will you please do the dismissal?
Thanks, ma'am.
We would like to sincerely thank all of you in attendance today, especially thankful for our parents that have taken the time out of a busy schedule to honor us with your presence here at the high school. We especially are honored to have a former member of our National Honor Society to deliver our address today. And above all, I'd like to say thank you to students for your attention during this ceremony, and also to say congratulations to all our new inducted members into the National Honor Society. At this time, we will be dismissed to go to third period class. Students, if you will sit tight in the bleachers. Band, if you will make your exit at this time. Parents, we will have a reception immediately following this ceremony in the Commons. Thank you very much for attending the ceremony.